Thank you, Lily. Beautiful as always. Woo! I love it. I love it. Good morning. I'm Debbie Skirdo, member of the Board of Trustees, and I'm so happy to welcome you and all our folks on Zoom today. We are having lots of fun things coming up and important things. So I'm going to give you some announcements. And the first one for today, as I think most of you know, we are having a special barbecue. And it's to celebrate our beloved Reverend Maggie Yenoki's birthday. So we're having special desserts, and we have people that everybody could, if you did, you brought a side to share, and hamburgers, hot dogs. It's going to be a feast. So be sure you stay around so you can enjoy it with us. There's a little basket for cards if you brought a card, so you don't have to worry about where that goes. Also, this Tuesday is our board's first official board meeting. We've already met twice. And it's going to be, we're catching up with things, and we're trying to get a head start and a good on everything that we got to do. So we're going to have that at 10:30 in the morning. And we're also going to, next month, we are going to open that with a Zoom for anybody. Okay, so you'll be able to come in on Zoom if you'd like to join the board meeting. If you want to come in person, just tell me. And if you want to address the board, you have something in mind, let me know so I can put it in the agenda. Okay? Also, that same day on Tuesday is also at 7, Taco Tuesday. And that's really fun to come to if you have that available. Unfortunately, I don't get to go because that's the same night we have the task force meeting for the teams, but maybe eventually. Also on Wednesday at 7 p.m., we have two things happening. One is here in the Founders Room, and that's Gathering for Grief. That group meets at 7 on Wednesday. And then on Zoom is the Green Sanctuary meeting. And also, please keep looking for the little forms to fill out for what you would like to do to serve on a team. Okay, they'll be in the back. We'll have them around. And also, please sign up on the back credenza behind the fireplace for any task forces. We'd really like to have some more people on cost savings. We really need that because, of course, we're going into a year where we really need to save money. Okay? And so please sign up. And keep watching in the community connections for dates for the first introductory team meetings. We'll be meeting by team, so there'll be 4 different teams, and 2 members of the task force will join those meetings and lead them to get you started, okay? And be there for questions and help get everything organized for at least 2 of the 2 meetings. And they're going to be dates that we hope lots and lots of people can attend. Okay, and also the last thing is on August 10th, we have a memorial scheduled for Adnan Aswad's son, Ron, who passed away in a car accident. And that will be at 10:30 here on August 10th, and everyone is invited to come. So that's it. And now I would love to introduce our birthday girl, Reverend Maggie Yenoki.
Wow, thanks everybody. Welcome and good morning. Hello to the Zoom people. Wish you were here. Maybe some of you are Zooming for the service and then you'll come over and have a part of the barbecue with us. That would be great. Did anyone else hear the thunder? No? You poor guys, you missed out. And I had a line in my script here that says, "That was my birthday party starting." But nobody heard it. We live in Monrovia, so we're just maybe further down the San Gabriels, but wow, there was a lot of really loud thunder this morning. But yeah. I'd also like to, before we get started, before I ring the bell, if you look at your order of service on the back, there's a couple of changes that you'll note. One is the image that was recently adopted by the Assembly of Unitarian Universalists at the GA in June. It's the floral image with love at the center, and those are the values that we hold as Unitarian Universalists, and also a little change to the wording that's right above our principles that are going to stay on the order of service. It just says, instead of as Unitarian Universalists, we affirm and promote, we changed it. The worship team approved this at our last meeting. It says, as Unitarian Universalists, we have a long history of covenanting to affirm and promote. Okay? So those are just little nudges toward the changes that are coming. So let's ring our bell and start the service. We ring the bell 3 times, honoring yesterday, celebrating today, and awaiting tomorrow. Our time together in worship is so tightly woven within our lives, and we enjoy all the ways that this hour nourishes our thoughts throughout the week. We light our chalice at each of our gatherings to celebrate that connection and to connect to our history and to the ancestors who reside there. But in many corners of our lives, we have shared rituals that unite our lives as citizens who care a great deal about our country, no matter our politics. Whether it's singing the national anthem at the Hollywood Bowl, or reciting the Pledge of Allegiance with the City Council, or maybe, if Jaryus could get that video ready, at the start of our school day, those words and songs that we commit to memory hold deep meaning for us at any age. So we light our chalice today with one example of this.
News Channel 9 is proud to honor our country with the daily Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Send us your pledge, and you could be featured on News Channel 9. Visit localsyr.com/pledge.
I invite you all to stand as you're able and comfortable, and let's sing our anthem, Spirit of Life, first in English, then in Spanish. We love you, Jaryus. No, it's fine. Notice how we do the words. So thank you. Yes, you forgot that slide. It's okay. Let's recite together and aloud in one voice our covenant. We affirm that love is the greatest purpose of this congregation. And the search for truth is our constant star, and service is our prayer. We pledge our hearts, minds, and hands to challenge injustice with courage, to make choices for a healthier planet, and to live out our Unitarian, Universalist values every day as beloved community. Thus do we covenant with each other and with all that is sacred in life. Please be seated. Everyone but Robert. And while it's not exactly Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, it's very close. Today's wisdom tale is entitled, A Cup of Light.
And there's a goblet with fire. And it's by Pamela Baxter. Each Sunday, Unitarian Universalists and congregations everywhere light a chalice. Lighting the chalice shows that the worship service is starting. It reminds us that this time together is special. Some families light a chalice before eating dinner. Sometimes we light a chalice when we are traveling far from home, which gives us a sense of comfort in a strange place. The chalice helps us to remember that near or far, Unitarian Universalists are always connected in spirit. Chalices come in many shapes and sizes. Some are large, others are small, some are plain, others are fancy. No matter what shape, size, or color they may be, one thing makes all Unitarian Universalist chalices the same. They all hold a flame. The chalice with a flame, the flaming chalice, is the symbol of Unitarian Universalism. You can find pictures of flaming chalices on banners and signs, on jewelry, on clothing, and even on pencils and bumper stickers. Take a look around a Unitarian Universalist church or event, and how many places do you see Unitarian Universalist symbol? A chalice is a special cup. A cup may hold water to refresh someone who is thirsty. A cup may hold soup to nourish someone who is hungry. A cup can help sustain life. Chalices have been used in religious ceremonies around the world for centuries. They can also be symbols for achievement or celebration. Your award for winning a spelling bee may look like a cup. Your family may have a set of glasses that you use only on special occasions. Fire is mysterious. We can feel its heat, but we can't actually touch it or hold it. Fire makes things change. It can melt metal or turn a mound of sticky dough into a hot loaf of bread. Fire provides warmth and light. It takes only a small flame to brighten the darkness, just a small fire to warm a cold night. Unitarian Universalists put the chalice and the flame together to make a symbol of the flaming chalice. Here are some ways to think about the flaming chalice. Think about what the flaming chalice represents. The chalice might be our loving community, the flame change. We are changed by being part of this loving community. The chalice might be our sharing community, the flame mystery. Together, Unitarian Universalists explore the great mysteries of life. For some, the flaming chalice means hope. It reminds us of how much good we can do when we work together. Some people say that the flaming chalice reminds them of joy and celebration, like the candles on a birthday cake. Everyone is special. Everyone has a special light inside. When we let our light shine and share it with others, we make the world a better place. Each of us is like a flaming chalice. What does the flaming chalice mean to you? If you drew a picture of your idea, what would it look like? When Unitarian Universalists light the chalice, they often say some special words called chalice lightings. Here are some chalice lightings that you might like to use, and you can make up a chalice lighting of your own. We light this chalice, a symbol of Unitarian Universalism. This is a church of open minds, loving hearts, and helping hands. We light this chalice for the light of truth. We light this chalice for the warmth of love. We light this chalice for the energy of action. Flaming chalice, burning bright, kindly share with us your light. Help us learn how we may care for all people everywhere. I light this light for freedom. I light this light for truth. I light this light for beauty. I light this light for diversity. I light this light for unity. Thank you. And now, if any kids present can come up and get our chalice, and Jaryus can put our song up, and you guys can sing us out.
Have a great time, you guys. See you at the barbecue. One of the ways that we open our lives toward a greater generosity is to share our offering plate 50-50 with a local charity that aligns with our values and is pre-selected by the justice team and approved by the board. For the month of July, we dedicate our Share the Plate to the good work of the Prison Library Project. We're grateful to have this opportunity to support the PLP, the Prison Library Project, and to be here together, digging into our shared work and activating the change that is needed in our community and in the world. And it is with deep gratitude for the many, many gifts of this congregation that our generous offerings will now be given and received. Please come forward. Sorry about that. I was stunned by Jimmy's joy and concern, and I had to make sure I was reading it right. We like this time in the service because we can share the things that are shining in our lives, and also we can ask for companionship in the time of shadow. It looks as if I've got nothing but joy today. Sometimes that's good. You know, there's always a mix. And I have a sad one first. My son, for my birthday, gave me this statue up here by the offering basket. It says, a statue of Kuan Yin. She is the Buddhist goddess of compassion that I think we've all, Bodhisattva, right. And I think we've all kind of adopted her. I certainly have, as someone to follow, to ask for help. And I think we're being tested for where is our compassion? Where is it coming from? And where does it need to go? Especially with the news yesterday that Donald Trump was shot. That was terrifying. And what scared me most was my first question was, is he still living? You know? Because shifts like that in our lives can come that quickly. And of course, there were 2 people that lost their lives in the incident. But I think that's enough shadow for now. But let's please keep our compassion flowing towards him and his family and everyone who cares about him, and also for whatever repercussions might bubble up because of this, okay? But back to Jimmy, 2,900 steps in one day. Yeah. He can do anything, I think. We're going to get you a cape. And I have one from Ellen and George. And guess what? It's George's birthday today, too. I didn't know we shared a birthday, but birthday blessings. Yeah. And they are leaving tomorrow on a vacation that's going to take them away from us for 3 weeks to Coeur d'Alene. Yeah. Well, blessings on your trip. I hope it's wonderful for both of you, for everyone. And another joy comes from Jill Rigel. She says, I'm a great aunt. My nephew Jade and his wife Emma had Ashley Jade, 7 pounds, 8 ounces 1 month ago. All 3 are doing well. From Auntie Jill. Yeah. So let's take a little bit of time in meditation together now and just soften into this moment that we share. Let's shift a little bit, shake off whatever's distracting us from ourselves and our bodies and our presence, and enter into a time of curiosity and exploration. We'll allow our thoughts to slow, our eyes to float closed maybe, and our fears to be emptied out. And we take a break from becoming. We're always working so hard to become something else, happier, holier, healthier. We rest in our complete acceptance of who we are, what is, when we arrive, where we've been, how things will be, and why there is suffering. We rest in the crystal clear nature that is being human. We celebrate our shared love of truth, not needing to acquire, but to allow our nervous systems to exhale and to just let go. To allow learning to fall on us as we ask our weary hearts, how am I going to live to the full on this day? What is my fullness, my passion? How is my life energy, my chi, my prana, my spirit of life being used and directed? Is there a leak somewhere? Is there a thief in my thoughts? How am I of service to all sentient beings? What are the beautiful gifts that I am offering to serve in this time of crisis? Am I honoring the longing that lives in the secret chamber of my heart? Can I hear the honor that's being sent to me? Can I welcome the gratitude that comes only to me from the unseen? Open and let it be filled with the love that is sent only for me to help me stay strong, to fill me with a sense of belonging, and to know that I am here with great purpose and loved beyond words. I am safe. I am held. I am loved. I am here. Nothing else is needed. Let's remain seated as we gently sing, filled with loving kindness. Remember that the pronouns change each time. It starts with I, then you, then we. Our reading today will be read by Karen Lane. It's titled Both the Burning and the Light, and it's written in the first person by one of my colleagues, Reverend Sean Parker Dennison. Karen?
About 6 months ago, I got a new tattoo. It's a lit match on my right wrist, added to an arm full of paintbrushes, pens, and other art supplies. As a minister, my tattoos are sometimes controversial, and I was a little nervous about what people would think about this addition. When people asked why I chose a lit match, I joke that it was either to burn the world down or to light my inner chalice. These days, the joke is less funny because things have gotten more serious, and I am more and more committed to resistance. This deepened calling to a life of non-compliance will take a lot of burning and a lot of light. As an artist and religious leader, I believe in the necessity of creative destruction. A magnet on my refrigerator says, "Go forth and set the world on fire." That's St. Ignatius Loyola. For me, it's a statement of passion and a reminder that in order for justice to flourish, injustice must be dismantled. In order for freedom to be real, fences, cells, and walls must be torn down. In order for forests to remain healthy, wildfires must burn away the overgrowth. I'm ready to embrace creative destruction as one of the tools we need in these times. But we need more than destruction. We also need to support each other. Lighting the flame of our common chalice is a powerful reminder that we cannot sustain ourselves by ourselves. We need each other to share the wisdom of lived experience, to remind each other to keep learning, and to love each other through the inevitable failures and eventual success of our resistance. We need both the burning and the light. And so, may a spirit of justice help us to be courageous and committed in these times. May we transform our ideals into action, our words into deeds. May the fire of our passion burn with both light and warmth. May we embody the spirit of creative destruction, always making room for more justice, more compassion, more love. We need both the burning and the light. May it be so. And may we be the ones that make it so. Amen.
As a transplanted soul who plans to live out my life exploring California, I've embraced our beautiful state as my home after moving here just a few years ago. Having lived on the East Coast for 5 decades, I relocated to Los Angeles area after completing my Master of Divinity degree in 2012. But since that time, I've been fortunate to travel to many wonderful places with my husband, George, and we plan to continue to make a habit of spending time in the wilderness as often as we can. We have spent weeks at Yosemite, volunteering at LeConte Lodge. We hiked Mount Baldy, we explored Monrovia Canyon, and enjoyed many nights in our own UU haven, Camp de Benneville Pines. One common thread that weaves through each place we've gone is nature's nurture. It comes gently while spending time with the trees and walking beside the water. Another benefit is the enjoyment that I get visiting the gift shops within our state and federal parks, and even up at camp. But within each of those gift shops, it is my mission to seek out the unique work of small business artisans. There is, however, one product line that comes from a company in Colorado that catches my eye every time. Maybe you're familiar with them. Their product line includes bookmarks, posters, t-shirts that bestow advice from a vast array of sources. The company is Your True Nature in Fort Collins, and they've captured a niche with their Advice From line of products. The advice they share comes from many sources, such as advice from a bear. Take a good long nap and look after your honey. Advice from the earth. Think globally and be good to your mother. And advice from a tree. Go out on a limb and remember your roots. I bought a coffee mug as a gift for George that offered advice from Yosemite. Enjoy life's peaks and valleys. Keep a sense of wonder. Expand your horizons and be inspiring. That's all good advice. And the folks at Your True Nature have shared some pretty good advice through their products. And they've touched many lives. They brought smiles and a fresh way of thinking to many people. And they've impacted the world with their vision and their passion. So, let's think about this. Isn't that what we hope to do with our UU presence and passion? So why should they have all the fun? Cornering the advice market. I'm sure we all have a lot. So I think we have some pretty good advice of our own to share. And I say that we get on board and let's share our UU advice. It's a great idea. But what is our UU advice? Even though George and I most often agree on a desired outcome, my advice is often very different than his. Your minister's advice not be exactly what you were hoping I'd say, or I might offer an idea that's much more liberating than you could imagine on your own. But our advice for one another might just be what somebody needed to hear. And it might end a conversation abruptly. But one thing is for sure, the advice that we give and the advice that we seek is as unique and individuated as each one of us. And one important point we can all agree on is that advice is best when it's requested. Unsolicited advice, even if it's from a loving source, can be hurtful. But let's imagine together, where can we, as Unitarian Universalists, seek advice together that warms and strengthens us, unites our lives, and shines our light into the world? The answer's been here right along. Advice from a chalice. Our UU Chalice has some good advice for us this morning. Number 1, keep fuel in your lamp. If you don't take good care of yourself, your light will grow dim. Number 2, don't say too much. Your presence and your light say more than you know in any situation. And number 3, make meaning and keep finding truth that passes the test of reason, justice, and compassion. So let's listen a little deeper to these 3 things that our chalice advises us about. Number 1, keep fuel in your lamp. If you don't take care of your spirit, your light will grow dim. If you grew up in a Christian tradition or have been a student of the Christian scriptures, you may be familiar with the parable of the wise and foolish virgins in the book of Matthew, chapter 25. In that narrative, some of the light bearers waiting to greet the bridegroom prepared extra fuel for their lamps, and others ran out of fuel before their duties were complete. Those who had plenty of oil did not feel that they had enough to share, so those who were in need were left in the dark. This parable reveals a community made up of haves and have-nots. And although it may not provide us answers for our own situations today, it leaves a responsible conversation open for us. How much fuel or life force energy do we have in store for our own well-being? And what do we do to replenish our supply? Do we feel that we're being selfish and deny ourselves the time that we truly need to connect with our source, our God and Goddess, to refresh our spirit? Do you schedule time with the divine? I find I must, or it gets used up in other chores. So go ahead and put your appointment with your spiritual practice onto your calendar, and maybe set your iPhone to play a reminder to prod you. You can use my voice if you want. How much of our fuel do we share with those around us who need it? And by giving away that energy we each bring as individuals, do we have less? Or do we find that we actually need less when we start helping other people? And how do we monitor our own level of fuel? Do we wait until we become cranky or lose our temper before we realize our tank is empty? But the answers for how to find balance and build the resilience we need in order to live well in community and serve one another, it takes self-awareness, it takes wisdom, and it takes discipline. We are each called to know ourselves well and to be willing to dedicate ourselves to the spiritual practices that we need in order to keep our own inner chalices lit for ourselves and for one another. In a way, it takes constant monitoring, because sometimes we forget, and it takes us getting sick in order to hear the message that we need to say no more often and maybe get more rest. And sometimes it takes the frustrated words of our spouse or a child or our friend telling us that we're always too busy for them, to understand that we are burning up too much fuel and we might be misdirecting our attention. And sometimes we are just overwhelmed by awful things, things that we don't ask for, that just come crashing into our lives more often than ever before, it seems. But they can wipe us out entirely, and we find ourselves far from where we wish we could be. But when our own light goes out, blown by a sudden storm or a disaster that leaves us without fuel, it's then that the resilience of this community can refuel your lamp for you. Relationships we build here and the life that we share together through all that we experience fuels each of our lamps. And our Chalice's advice to keep fuel in our lamp is pretty good advice. But so is its second point. Bring a gift of silent presence. The rich history and image of the flaming chalice has been a sign of meaningful presence to Unitarians since the early 40s, and to our UU tradition since the Association of Congregations was formed in 1961. The meaningful stories of its inception never grow old. Hans Deutsch was a European artist in the 40s who often drew political cartoons that were critical of Adolf Hitler. Deutsch was asked by the Reverend Charles Joy, who was then the executive director of the Unitarian Service Committee, to create a symbol or a logo that would represent the spirit of their work and increase the appeal on their correspondence and on their documents. As Reverend Joy expressed in his writing to the board in Boston, the ink and penciled image was a chalice, like the Greeks and Romans put on their altars with a holy oil burning in it as a symbol of helpfulness and sacrifice. Joy and Deutsch worked together as founding members of what is now the UUSC, Unitarian Universalist Service Committee, originally formed for the specific purpose of helping the oppressed escape Nazi persecution. To this day, the UUSC works to provide disaster relief, promote human rights, and advance social justice around the world. Their logo, the flaming chalice, was made into a little badge worn by agents moving refugees to freedom. From its origin, our chalice has been a silent, meaningful presence that stood for liberation and a life of service. Without making a sound in any spoken language or criticizing anyone or anything, the flame and its holder gave an inspiring message of hope to each and every soul who saw its glowing presence lighting the way to freedom. Our UU flaming chalice was at one time a quiet symbol of freedom and divine intervention to the Jewish people of Europe. The example of silent presence that comes as advice from the chalice calls to us to be agents of freedom as well. We are called to free those who seek to be relieved of oppression, no matter how that is manifested in their lives. And it's not always required that we be the loudest voice in all of that work. There are often many words of advice spoken: do this, don't do that, vote for me, don't vote for them. Words can be hurtful and only represent the truth of those in power. Their advice may feel as if it's good to them, and perhaps the words come from those who are adamant about their beliefs. But when we sit in silence and discern from the heart, we can see if the advice that we know is true and good is being sought or needed. Is it always true that advice has worked for you? Is it always good for another? And the advice from our chalice to be a silent, light-filled presence creates the space for us to answer that quite well. For me, the image of the chalice has lit the way to my freedom many times. But what does the silent presence of the flaming chalice mean to you? What is its meaning? And that brings us to our third bit of advice from the chalice: to make meaning and to keep seeking the truth that passes the test of reason, justice, and compassion. While a flaming chalice has been the official logo of the UUSC, the UUA, and many of our congregations for over 80 years, the meaning and interpretation of the flaming chalice is not officially set. We are free to create the meaning that best reflects our principles and passion as it moves us to live out our individual lives as members and seeds for our UU faith in the broken world that we live in. The meaning of our chalice is as individual as each of us that embrace it. And the magic about that is there is not any one deep secret that we must search for or study to achieve. There is no secret teaching being withheld by a force that judges if we're worthy or ready to receive it or if we can understand its power. It's alive, it's welcoming, it's ever-changing, and it's here with us. Each time we light it together is an image to remind us all that we are each creators of the meaning that we bring into our lives. So what meaning does the flaming chalice bring to you? Is the chalice that you carry inside you, the chalice that you are, giving good, meaningful advice to you and to those you love and to others? As our focal point of worship today, and traditionally in each of our gatherings, the chalice takes a special place in our private lives and as members and friends of this faith that we share. The chalice's advice to make meaning and to seek the truth that passes the test of reason, justice, and compassion is powerful. It brings deep purpose to our own individual experience and to our connection as members of this liberal religious tradition, and to our example to the world as people of compassionate, resilient, faithful living. Our ability to make meaning is something we all reach for when troubles come to us or to another. So let's remember this advice from our chalice. May we care for ourselves and tend to the fuel of our inner chalice. As they always tell us on the plane, put your own mask on first before helping others. And may our light shine as a steady, quiet force of powerful, meaningful presence at home, here among our faith family, and in our community. And may our hearts and minds remain open, bringing forth meaningful, compassionate justice into this world that we are all so grateful for. May it be so. Blessed be, and amen. I invite you to stand and we'll sing our ascending song, Come Sing a Song with Me.
Come
printed in your order of service, but coming up on the screen, there it is. Let's read our unison benediction as we wish each other well. As we extinguish our chalice flame and close our time together on this day, may we invite its light to shine through us, to strengthen us for the way ahead, and to allow our lives to serve as lights in this world that needs so much healing, and as a ray of hope for all beings that we care so much about. Please be seated and enjoy the postlude.
Actually, I thought that instead of me playing postlude, that it's a very appropriate song we should all sing. Oh, nice. So here we go.
Going to be, may we all celebrate each of our lives every day as a birthday, and let's enjoy the barbecue together and the conversation that we're going to share. Blessings, everyone.